Guys, welcome back to another video. It is Racer X, and I am on my way to AutoNation Dodge, which is on the north side of Fort Worth in Texas, and I am really looking forward to this review. This is a review that I have been trying to get done for months, and it's just been really difficult to find this vehicle, but today I did find one, and I'm gonna review it for you, so stay tuned for that. Also, guys, if you are new to the channel, make sure you slap the subscribe button down here in the corner, hit the notification bell. Here we go. We got the 1,000 horsepower Hellcat. Racer X here, and I am very excited to announce a partnership between myself and exhaust giant MagnaFlow to premiere their brand new state-of-the-art exhaust system. It is called the Xmod, and you can see the Xmod actually right here. This is a prototype system on the Challenger here. This thing actually features carbon fiber tips. It has a V-band clamps. It is a tunable exhaust, meaning you can actually take the mid mufflers in and out of the system depending upon how loud you want the system to be. Fantastic new system. They are also bringing the system out for the Chargers, any of the V8 Chargers, and also the Chrysler 300. So pay very close attention to MagnaFlow's website over the next couple of weeks for that product launch and one other very cool thing. In celebration of this brand new product release, I am working with MagnaFlow to give away system number 1 of the Xmod to one of my subscribers. So whether you have a Challenger, whether you have a Charger, whether you have a Chrysler 300, you can win this system. It is absolutely free to enter. So Racer X, how do I enter to win the Xmod? Well, you can do that on my Instagram, which is XCESIV_Hellcat. I'll actually put that right up here so that you can find me. Also, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, but I will actually be doing that drawing on September 3rd, which is a Thursday. I will go live on my channel at 7 o'clock, and the drawing will be at 7:30. So don't forget to enter the drawing now on my Instagram. Make sure you tell me what vehicle you have and why you want to win the Xmod system so that you get entered properly, and I will make sure you get entered to win this thing. I can't wait to see what happens. Stay tuned. All right, I have arrived here at AutoNation Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler, Ram. This is on the north side of Fort Worth. It's actually considered North Richland Hills, and they actually have a lot of really cool inventory. Obviously, I came to show you one specific car. Let's go ahead and take a quick look around and see what all they've got here. I tell you what, they've got a slew of Challengers here. So if you're like a Challenger person, they've got, matter of fact, they've got a couple of Hellcats just chilling right here. I know they've got some other ones in there, but lots of Challengers. They've got Hemis here. So we've got a wide body Challenger Red Eye. This is a gorgeous car, actually. You can see it's got the red leather interior that I really like. Got another Hellcat over here. So that's 4 Hellcats they've got just chilling. Matter of fact, I know they've got a bunch of TA Challengers here as well, which you don't really see. For some odd reason, they just don't have that many around, but you can see they've got a TA here. They've got another one over there. And as a matter of fact, I think they've also got one, yep, right over there. So lots of TAs. Okay, guys, I'm actually in AutoNation Dodge here on the north side of Fort Worth. And actually, they've got one of these hell-raising cars. That was one of those new colors that I just was not really a fan of when I saw it the first time. But as you start to get a better look at these, I actually really like the hell-raising color. It's actually pretty neat, and you don't see it very often. Let's go see if we can find our good buddy Kevin, who's running around here somewhere, and see if we can't get a look at this car we came to review today. Well, you've actually got the Durango right here. This is the Durango, but this is actually the RT. This isn't actually the one I came to look at, but it looks very similar to the SRT version. You can see it's got the exact same hood. It looks exactly the same from the front. And but once you move over here, no SRT badge, no 392 on the side. So let's go see if we can't actually find the car that I did come to look at. Well, guys, there it is, finally. It's the SRT Durango. I did find it. This is like the only one in the Dallas Metroplex. It's actually really hard to find these, but I found it. It's black, really gorgeous car, and I can't wait to show you. It's actually raining. We're getting the outer belts of a hurricane right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it under the awning here so I can go over some of the features of this bad boy, and also maybe drive it a little bit and give you my driving impressions. So I do just want to kind of walk around real quick. You can see it actually looks very similar to the RT in the front, same hood, all that good stuff. As obviously you walk around. Now we know this packs a different engine. Of course, there is the 392 badge that we're looking for. And we'll go over the inside here in just a second. But I just want to give you a quick walk around of the Durango SRT. And make no mistake, this is a big vehicle. This thing is not small, but boy, does it pack a punch. Well, the very first thing I need to touch on is what makes this vehicle special. Really, what makes it one of the baddest third row SUVs out there? Well, it's that engine. It's that 6.4 liter naturally aspirated Hemi that we've come to love. We get it in the Scat Pack. We get it in the Jeep SRT, which is kind of this one's cousin. And of course, the Scat Pack comes in a Charger and Challenger. But this one is detuned, I should say, ever so slightly. So we're looking at 475 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque in this thing. And it looks very, very similar like what you'd find in a Charger or Challenger. Just sitting in there, really nice and neat. And so we're looking at about a 10 horsepower difference and 5 horsepower in torque, but it goes down through the 8-speed transmission to an all-wheel drive system, just like you'll find in the SRT Jeep Grand Cherokee. And this is a bigger vehicle. You can actually fit more people in this comfortably. So let's actually show you a little bit on the interior to show you what sets this thing apart. Here's a look at the inside of the Dodge Durango SRT. As you can see, it has those nice big seats that Mopar is known for. It's got the Alcantara finish on it. And then of course right here in the middle, you've got your infotainment screen, 8.1 inches. Actually very similar like what you find in a Charger here from an instrumentation perspective. A little wider through the center console area, but you can see it's got sort of that traditional Mopar gear selector there. You've got your USB ports here in a really nice, comfortable place. Easy to access, and it is just a really, really comfortable place to sit. I'll actually show you the instrumentation panel or the driver view here momentarily, but I want to show you the back seat just really quick. So you've got like captain's chairs back here. You still get that beautiful kind of SRT stitching, the Alcantara finish, but as you can see, you get climate control here in right here below, and you also get the climate control on the roof of the vehicle, which I want to show you. And even back here in the third row, which is a little more roomy than you would expect, you get climate control back there as well, as you can see right there in the roof. And then of course you've even got cup holders for the third row. This even has trunk space behind the third row. Matter of fact, let's go back there so we can take a look at that. Now here you've got your cargo area, which is behind the third row. And when you actually fold the third rows down, let's go ahead and do that really quick just so you can kind of get a gauge of how much space this thing really has. It's pretty significant. I'll step back so you give you a better look at that, but look at all the room inside this vehicle. I mean, like I mentioned, this is a mean package because you're talking about something that's approaching 500 horsepower, but you get all of this room and functionality. A very, very unique thing. As with any of the SRT products, you're going to get the massive 6-piston Brembo brake package on the front of the car. The tires are actually 295 Pirelli Scorpions on all 4 corners. And of course, you get this pretty cool Durango SRT wheel here as well. Now in the back, obviously the brakes are a little bit smaller. You get the 4-piston Brembos, but I love the way that red stands out. I mean, it almost gives it a sports car type look in a very functional SUV. A couple other quick talking points. This thing really is functional. 8.1 inches of ground clearance this thing has, so not too bad on that. And when it comes to towing, believe it or not, this thing will actually tow like 8,700 pounds, which is more than 1,500 than you would get in the Jeep SRT. So this thing tows quite a bit more. It actually competes with some of the trucks that are out there. Let's talk a little bit about the performance of this bad boy, and that is what makes this thing unique. That is right up my alley. So it is not the lightest vehicle in the world. It actually comes in at 5,510 pounds, which makes it about 1,000 pounds heavier than a comparably equipped Charger. But the numbers are impressive on this thing. 0 to 60, they say it will go 4.4 seconds. Now that's that technology working. Not only does it have that big torquey 6.4 liter engine, but then you've got that all-wheel drive system working with you as well. And they say this thing will actually run the quarter in below 13 seconds. 12.9 actually is what it is rated from the factory. That is impressive from a big third-row SUV. So this thing actually stickers right about $65,000. And while that is not necessarily cheap, and yes, it's more than a Scat Pack would be, whether it's a Charger or a Challenger with the essentially the same exact engine in it, you get a lot more room in this. And when you compare it to its cousin, base price to base price, guess what? This one is actually $6,000 less than the Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT. So go figure. Now I'm actually in the driver's seat of the Durango SRT, and it is a very comfortable and familiar place for me to sit. It's got that nice big SRT steering wheel. You've got your paddle shifters here. I want to go ahead and start up the vehicle just so you can kind of see. There it is, Durango SRT. So the gauges are kind of unique. And I've actually selected the SRT pages here. As you can see right down here, you've got not only an SRT page, you've got launch control right here that you can do. How many third row SUVs do you get something like launch control? So I'll actually show you just really quick when we go to our dashboard. And this is something for the newer SRTs, but you can see you've got your drive mode, your performance pages, and your gauges. You've got your race options. Mind you, this thing is a big all-wheel drive SUV. But not only that, but you got your track, your sport, your custom settings, but you also get snow in tow. How cool is that? So say we go to a track setting, you can actually go to your drive modes here and you can see it puts everything in track. So this thing is all business. And when you actually put this thing in track, it actually transfers 70% of the power to the rear wheels, which is kind of a neat thing. So this is a really, really cool SUV, especially when you consider you're getting it for in the mid 60s. You get a lot of functionality with this. So let's talk a little bit about why I think this vehicle is so cool. So I did a little bit of research, and it's staggering what I was able to find. So this thing, as I mentioned before, 0 to 60 is 4.4 seconds. Well, guess what? A Mustang GT goes 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. So a 0.2 difference, and that vehicle is 2,000 pounds lighter. So very impressive stat, and I just found that interesting. Also, I mean, what compares to this thing? So could you maybe say the Cadillac Escalade? Well, the Escalade is a nice vehicle. It's a big third row, 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque, 6.2 liter V8. It is over a second slower, and that is just in the 0 to 60. It doesn't even compare. Yes, it's very nice on the inside, but then you're also talking about a $20,000 price jump base for base, and that is a big difference. So what else is out there? There's no Trailblazer SS really to compare to this from Chevy. Now, Range Rover has a couple of pretty cool models, but they're smaller. They almost compare better to like the Jeep SRT. And from a price point perspective, it's very different. So let's look at maybe some of the other competitors out there. So maybe from Lincoln, you've got the Navigator. That's a nice big third row SUV. You're talking about 450 horsepower. And so not only is it a full second slower in the 0 to 60, and even more so in the quarter, but it's also $20,000 more money as well. So definitely something to think about there. So what else is even out there that we could compare this to? Well, I've got a list of them here, and these cars all make more power, but they're all significantly more money, and most of these are actually smaller. So let's talk about it. The Mercedes-AMG 63, the G-Wagon. That thing is almost 200 grand when it's well equipped. I mean, it's nice, yeah, but it's really expensive, and I'm not a huge fan of the look of it, but some people are. That's fine. One vehicle that I do think is pretty cool is the Tesla Model X Performance Package. That is a pretty cool car, and it is quick, 518 horsepower, but you're looking at a base price of $101,000. That's just to start out. They are not a cheap vehicle. So you're looking at 40 to 50 easily more money to buy that. What else? I mean, what else is on the list here, guys? The Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio. It's not how it's pronounced, but that's what I call it. I believe it's actually the Quadrifoglio. Sorry for that. But anyway, you also have the Porsche Cayenne Turbo S, the Lamborghini Anus, or Urus as some people would call it, the Bentley Bentayga Speed. You've got the BMW X5 M Competition. I mean, these are some, hell, they're hard to pronounce. You've got the Mercedes GLS 63S. That's a pretty cool one. The Rolls-Royce, I believe it's called the Culavan. You've got the Maserati Levante Trofeo. And the last one I have on my list is the Jaguar F-Pace Svr. I can't even hardly pronounce half of these, but I will tell you, these are not cheap vehicles. Most of these are going to be approaching the mid ones, some of them higher than that. And at the very least, you're going to be spending into the six figures. And when you think about this thing being a little bit bigger and just the power that this thing makes and all of the functionality that it has, it is kind of in a class by itself right now. So I'm actually aboard the Durango SRT, and I have to admit, I mean, I've been driving this for just a couple of minutes, and it is a very enjoyable driving experience. It is not the fastest vehicle in the world, but it has that familiar 392 punch that we've all kind of grown to love. I mean, it's just that low end torque of this. It really kind of feels like driving a big old Scat Pack, and we all know how much I love driving the Scat Pack. And when you kind of pour into it, that exhaust comes out the back. There it goes. Man, it sounds really, really good. And I have to admit, I mean, you almost kind of forget where you're sitting when you're driving the Durango SRT. It has that amount of fun factor that you would kind of hope for, but at the same time, you've got all the functionality in the world because it's all-wheel drive, so you could drive it in any inclement weather. You can fit your entire family of 6 in this very, very comfortably. It has a 25-gallon fuel tank on it, so that means you're not going to run out of gas and have to hit every gas station between here and your destination. All really good things about this car. So can I think of any bad things about this particular vehicle? Well, visibility's good. From a functionality perspective, I mean, it's just really functional. I mean, I've got just about everything I could want here on the infotainment system. It's got heated and cooled seats. It actually is less than its cousin, the SRT Jeep. And you know what? I mean, I have to admit, I wasn't expecting that much when I first came to view the vehicle. I mean, it doesn't exactly look like a Porsche on the outside, but I have to say, it is very, very punchy, the low end of this. And the fact that this big old thing can run a sub 13-second quarter mile bone stock is pretty impressive. And it'll do it like in the rain. I mean, the all-wheel drive system in this is fantastic. It doesn't get the best fuel economy. So if you're somebody who's like, oh, I just want fuel economy, this thing is not for you. So I'll be honest about that. But if you are somebody that wants to drive something fun, something that sounds good, something that's functional, you can put your whole family in, take anywhere, this is a really good option for you. So when I drove the SRT Jeep Grand Cherokee, I really like that vehicle. But I'm kind of torn because I'm thinking if I was on a long road trip, I almost think that I might like the Durango even better. From the outside, I don't know if I like the styling quite as well as I like in the Jeep, but in terms of the way this thing drives and the functionality of it, I mean, it doesn't feel any slower or faster than the Jeep does. It actually feels right on par, and you know this thing is bigger, but it tows more. I mean, it does a lot of things equally as well, if not better, and for less money. So, I mean, that is definitely something to consider with this vehicle. There really are very few cars out there to really even compare this to when you talk about what this thing actually costs and what it can do. So I'm very impressed with this. I have to admit, I would rock this. I really would. If I was going on a long road trip and I was going to California or something like that, and I had to have the whole group with me, and I wanted something that was going to be fun, that was just going to do the job, this one would be right up there in terms of tops on my list. It has impressed me. Now, I do want to take just a quick second and address sort of the elephant in the room. And I know what you guys are thinking. Yes, Dodge has just announced that they're coming out with a Hellcat version of this exact vehicle. And I am very, very excited about that too, because once again, what in the world is going to compete with that? Keep in mind though, that that one will be easily $20,000 more than this. And this thing already has a bunch of power, as we already talked about. Not everybody needs Hellcat type power. This thing is actually a lot of fun. Now, will I be excited about the new Hellcat Durango? Absolutely. I think that thing is going to be off the chain. But this thing has a cool factor to it. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with this, this 392 in this. It has got plenty of punch and power. And for somebody out there who's looking for a vehicle that does everything well, at basically the mid 60s in terms of price point, it really doesn't get much better. Well, guys, that is about it on the SRT Durango. This is the review you guys have been asking me to do for months now, and we finally got it done. I want to give a quick shout out to my buddies here at AutoNation Dodge, which is actually on the north side of Fort Worth. North Richland Hills is actually where it is. They've got a lot of really cool inventory, including this vehicle, which is available. You can actually give my buddy Kevin a call. I'll put his information right up here in the corner. So get a hold of him if you see something here that you like. They're great to deal with. I do appreciate them letting me review this bad boy because, once again, they are kind of hard to find. And it's been a fun one. So, guys, I will catch you on the next one. Until then, race rest.